As we launch into this holiday season, Anna Kasparian and I would like to focus on the positive for literally the first time this year and talk about 10 things that we're thankful for as we get into Thanksgiving. So I've got 5 things, Anna's got 5 things, and we also have some comments and tweets that were left by our audience members to the posts that we put on our official accounts. Anna, why don't you start off with giving us one of your things that you're thankful for?
Okay, so I thought about this carefully and I decided to list my 5 things in order of importance, starting with, I mean, this is all very important to me. But I'm gonna start with, I guess in my world of very important things, what is the least important? So number 5, I wrote substances. And that includes
like clay?
No. I didn't want to have to choose one of these things. So I put it under the umbrella of substances, and the substances that I prefer are pot and whiskey.
Ooh.
So that's number 5.
That's a balanced breakfast right there.
My favorite dinner.
I love that. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna match. This would be my honorary mention. This is my number 6, but for me, it's been gin. That has gotten me through this pandemic, is gin for some reason. I don't know. Maybe related to my actual number 5, which is my writing group. I'm very thankful for the couple of individuals in my writing group. And because I want to be a writer, I'm drinking more gin. That seems like a classic thing you do. We've been writing all throughout the pandemic. I am closing in on the end of the book I've been writing this year. And I 100% would have long since given up if not for my writing group to keep me honest on it. And so that has been a great thing this year, is meeting up twice a week for that writing group.
I love that. Aw. Should I give you my next one?
What's your number 4?
So my number 4 is nature, because nature has not only gotten me through this pandemic and this pretty awful time, but anytime I kind of need like to heal in any way, or if I need some solitude, some time to think, I always want to be out in nature, right? So these long walks that I go on have really helped. I've been going on super long hikes. When my good friend Michael Brooks passed away, all I wanted to do was go hiking. And I like to go to places where you don't really run into other people. So I'm not like I like hiking Runyon, which is like the Hollywood hike. There's a ton of people there, but I prefer being in places that are feels like you're remote, even though you're still in LA County. Yeah. So and nature, it's just, I don't know, looking at the flowers, looking at just how incredibly beautiful nature is, makes me feel better. So I'm really grateful that I can, rely on nature to get me into a better headspace.
Yeah, anytime I see a random animal out and about, like a random rabbit or something, it's just always so like, oh my God, nature exists. I do like that. And I agree, Runyon is the exact opposite of nature. There are areas of Manhattan that are more natural than Runyon at this point. Anyway, my number 4 is part of nature. It is my dogs, my dog Hilo and my wife's dog Abby. For all of the reasons that I talk about in literally every show, like I go home from work and I immediately cuddle up with my dog. And I bury my face in his fur, and my allergies flare up in about 3 minutes, but it's great and I love it. He cuddles with me. He started to cuddle, like I'll be laying on the bed watching TV and he comes up and puts his back against mine and just like leans against me. And it's so adorable. Like I don't know what 2020 would have been like without dogs.
They're the best. Well, Charlie is gonna make an appearance, but the placement is a little different for me.
Sure.
So for my 3rd thing on my list, it's my health, right? So it really hit me the other day as I was out in nature, just kind of like reflecting on things. I started thinking about how there are a lot of things that we kind of take for granted. We don't really think about it much. And for me, one of those things is my health. And just like, this goes beyond health, but I'm able to do what I do for work because of certain skills that I have and like the ability to learn, and just, these are basic things. I mean, anyone can do these things, right? But I just feel really lucky that I'm able to do what I like to do. I'm capable, like I'm a capable person. So I guess I'm grateful that I'm healthy and I'm capable.
Yeah, you are. You know what? I've always described you as a healthy, capable person. My number 3 is going to be TYT, but by that I mean like both the company but my career. Because this year has been incredibly disruptive to basically everybody's life, but I have been lucky enough that I have had this job that it's changed a ton. It's very different. It immediately became very different with the pandemic, but it didn't go away. I never had to worry that I was going to be, out on the street or evicted. These are things that millions of people have had to worry about. And not just that I've had a paycheck, but the show became, the Damage Report became much more personal, sort of like the direct connection we have with our audience very quickly in the pandemic. And I think that was very helpful for me, because this is a year that has really driven people apart from each other, from their coworkers, from society, from their government. And it's been nice to have a connection, and that has been provided to me by TYT. So obviously, all of my issues, some publicly stated, some just that me and Anna know, with this entire industry and career or TYT or whatever, those all remain. But thank God for TYT during this year. It would have been even darker without it.
I like that. So for me though, TYT didn't make the list. But I am grateful for TYT. It would be my top 10 for sure. Although sometimes I feel like it's killing me, not TYT specifically, just what I do and what we have to talk about every day. But for my number 2 spot, I have family and friends. So that includes my incredibly supportive husband, incredibly supportive colleagues like you, John, my best friend Lauren, my parents who have been like the foundation for my life, for everything that I've accomplished. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So I'm just so grateful for them. And last but definitely not least, my nieces. I see them every Wednesday. They are just such a huge part of what keeps me happy and sane. And the great thing about kids is when you're with them and when you're really present while you're playing with them and engaging with them, it reminds you of a part of yourself that you kind of lost as you've grown up and matured and became like a professional, whatever it is. You have to kind of act a certain way publicly all the time, and then you lose that childlike curiosity. And I think being around kids and really being present and engaging with them just reminds you of that childlike curiosity that you might have forgotten about. And I really love that.
Yeah, I love that. I haven't seen like any of my family.
Oh, I can't imagine. Like a lot of people are going through that. And yeah. I'm very lucky because everyone in my family, and I have a very small family. I just have one brother, his wife, my parents, and my 2 nieces. And they've all been quarantining, staying home ever since the pandemic began, or at least ever since the pandemic was taken more seriously in this country in March. And so as a result, I'm able to see them. If I wasn't able to see my family, if I wasn't able to like play with my nieces on Wednesdays, I don't know what I would do. I'd lose my mind.
That's adorable. Well, my number 2 is related, and it is as you said earlier in your list. Mine is for my family, I would say the health, although we have lost someone to COVID, but more specifically that my wife and I have gotten through this because we've been the ones quarantining together. And the reason I guess it's obvious, everybody's gonna say something like that, but I really thought one or both of us would get it early on. Like I just sort of accepted at some point, one of us is gonna get this and we're gonna have to see what happens. And that early part of the pandemic, like we were like even just going out to get a little bit of food or whatever, I was so concerned that I would like bring it back to her or something. And so we've been, very vigilant and everything. But I really did assume that one of us would get it, and thankfully we've been lucky from that. Not necessarily 100% immune to any sort of health things or anything like that, but at least not getting that within our immediate family and having it, only affect our extended family to the extent that it has, is better than I feared it would be at the beginning of the year, at least.
Yeah. We're so lucky. We're incredibly fortunate that we're able to do what we do. And we still have jobs, and our jobs are safe, like health-wise. So, yeah, we're very fortunate. So for me, I'm gonna let you guess, John.
I'm assuming it has to be Charlie. Even if you hadn't said, I would assume.
Is that wrong? Is it wrong that Charlie gets the top spot? Is it wrong that Charlie's the real MVP in my life?
It's the only way this list could have ever gone. Why
okay, so here's the reasoning. Because all of the things that I listed, there are ebbs and flows, right? So with substances, that was my number 5 spot. You get a little too substancey, you got a little problem, right? So it's not all good. You got moderation. Nature, you enjoy nature, but you also think about how we're rapidly destroying it, and it's not a given, right? And you can't always rely on going out for a long walk. Might be cold, it might be raining. This past summer, it was insanely hot for like 2 weeks, where you couldn't even be outside. You felt like you were on fire the second you stepped outside. It was insane. Health, I mean, I'm healthy, but that's obviously, it's not a given. It's not constant. I can still get sick. Family, we're humans. We have our conflicts. We have our issues. Charlie is a constant. Charlie is, no matter how awful things have gotten this year, he's just always been this consistent source of comfort, of love, of affection, loyalty, all of that stuff. Like, it's insane how much this little dog, improved my life. Like, we adopted him in 2016 when I was like in the depths of awful depression, awful anxiety, didn't think I'd be able to get out of it. And Charlie was the catalyst for just improving my entire life. So he's got the top spot. I love my dog.
Well, I don't think anyone is surprised by any of this, but I'm thankful that you have Charlie as well, because it keeps you sane, which is good. And he's a great dog. He deserves that spot. He had a good chance of making it in my top 5 action. I've barely seen him this year. Have I seen him this year? I actually don't remember. I'm sure I have at one point. Anyway, my number 1 is going to be the end of Trump. Sort of, it's coming. Like a transition away from this. And this is not the blind, glee of some people that are like, yay, all the bad's gone. No, the bad's not gone. But some of it is. Some of it will be replaced, not with the best thing ever, but with better things. And what we have given ourselves in transitioning out of these years, once it's actually done, is a fighting chance on some of these issues. It is a chance and it requires fighting. Both parts of that, please bear in mind, a fighting chance. But we do have a fighting chance on some of these issues, including ones that we've talked about so far in the program today. The news wasn't always great under Obama, obviously. It wasn't great before that, but at least some of these just insane skeletons will be out of government. We won't have to deal immediately with Stephen Miller. We won't have to deal immediately again with William Barr and Mike Pompeo. Some of them will probably, circle the drain and eventually be dredged up by whatever comes next from the Republican Party. I'm not blind to that, but we at least will get a little bit of peace, a chance to wage a more positive war on the issues we care about and the world we want to see, rather than just a defensive war to try to sort of dull the edges of the blade that's been at our throat for multiple years. So that is what I am thankful for, that as we end the worst year ever, we're at least getting rid of some of the worst things ever.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to have that on your list for sure. I'm just I think I'm a lot less optimistic than you are, just as a person overall. I guess it's just hard for me to stop and enjoy the fact that Trump will be out of office, because all I can think about now is a lot of these cabinet picks for Biden are awful, So but I need to take my own advice and just stop for a second and just pivot my mind to the positive. And enjoy that for even a little bit, and then I can move on to Biden's cabinet.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.